Hello and welcome to this video about Jaguar XK8 XKR. What is the Silverstone Special Edition? This is video 108 in my series of XK8 videos. In this video, I'm going to try and take a detailed look into what is the XKR Silverstone Special Edition. I'm going to split this video down into 5 parts. Part 1, why was it made? Part 2, what exactly is it? Part 3, what's the difference between Phase 1 and 2? Part 4, how many were actually made? Part 5, what is their value now and what was the sales value when they were new? This video is part of a selection of videos I've put together to celebrate the 21st anniversary of the launch of the car, and please see the links in the description for how to find those videos. If you're watching this video, you're obviously interested in Jaguar XKRs. If so, might I suggest you click on the top right hand link to be taken directly to our YouTube channel. There you'll find lots more Jaguar XK content. Whilst you're there, if you press the subscribe button, you'll be linked to our channel. Press the bell icon, you'll be reminded when videos are become aired. And if you watch a particular video, you can click the thumbs up if you say you like it, thumbs down if you don't. And if you have any questions or comments, we'll reply as soon as we can. In the meantime, enjoy the current video. Okay, section 1 then, why was it made? Well, it's basically marketing, but there was a number of other factors which I'll run through now in the basic gist of how it all got started. First of all, let's start with the new XKR, which came out in 1998. It was launched to great acclaim, really super engine, 370 bhp, but it did have some issues, mainly in the handling of that level of power when took to the limit, and specifically the brakes were a little bit spongy and didn't have quite the stopping power if you're going full tilt. So at the same time, Ford had actually bought Jaguar. It was pressing for sales to get its money back. And Jaguar had previously set up the SVO team, Special Vehicle Operations Team, and that team was trying to generate more sales through making specialist vehicles for the royal family. There was basically the pace cars, that sort of thing. And the first vehicle they came up with was the Jaguar XK 180, supposedly to get to 180 miles an hour, similar to the previous XK 120. The right-hand drive was actually displayed at the Paris Motor Show in October 1998, and the left-hand drive a bit later in Detroit in January 1999. And this was the first real altogether vehicle the Special Vehicle Operations Team put together. And what was interesting was lots of performance upgrades. So the question is, could these SVO upgrades help the XKR with its small deficiencies? The Jaguar team seemed to think so, and they bolted those onto the XK8 and decided to market them as R performance upgrades, and they were available officially from the 14th September 1999, either as aftermarket add-ons or specified at the factory build. For reference, the R logo wasn't actually used until the model year 2003 cars, basically the 4.2 litre cars, but it's convenient to use it at this point. If you're interested in R performance upgrades in more detail, I have done a separate video of that. There should be a link in the top right hand corner how to get to that video. Then Ford again is still pressing for sales. They've got to make money out of this purchasing of Jaguar, so they looked at marketing through motorsport success and particularly at F1, and they decided to buy an F1 team and brand it as Jaguar. They'd already were in the realms of sponsoring a team together with Jackie Stewart Grand Prix team, which actually was competing between 1997 and 1999. That was purchased in 2000, rebranded Jaguar Racing. The team unfortunately only lasted 4-5 seasons. It wasn't particularly successful, only one race win. Before finally it was sold to Red Bull, and it seemed to take off then. I don't understand why, but it was extremely successful as the Red Bull team. Then put together the marketing guys again, trying to put the whole thing together, how we're going to brand this car, really sell these performance upgrades and the XKR. Decided to associate it with the home of British racing, the pinnacle of high performance racing in Britain, which is the Silverstone. And it's actually the home to the Formula 1 Grand Prix. No offence to Brands Hatch, but this seems to be the main one everybody associates. Previously, Jaguars had a lot of success at the circuit since 1949, with the original XK120 winning. So the result is a special edition branded Silverstone. And basically, the cherry on the cake was the marketing guy said, well, what we're going to do, the first time the F1 team competes at Silverstone, we're going to launch the car and allow all the first owners to visit the race team and do lots of marketing. And that's what they did. So on April the 23rd was St. George's Day. It's all flag waving. When Jaguar Racing R1s were driven by Eddie Irvine and Johnny Herbert to compete in the Formula 1 British Grand Prix 10 days earlier, basically April the 13th. The final pre-race testing session was on, and the first owners for the XKR Silverstone cars actually visited and got a bit of a demo. Johnny Herbert was the racing driver from the Stewart team who carried over into the first season with the Jaguar team, and he had a similar success rate, not particularly great. I think it was only Eddie Irvine actually got one race win with the particular car, so no offence to Johnny Herbert. The result is the Jaguar XKR was born. Section 2 then, what exactly is it? What is the spec? How can you tell you've got a Silverstone and somebody isn't trying to fleece you with badges? First of all, it's a 2+2 coupe. It's based on the XKR, or it's a 2+2 convertible. Again, based on the XKR convertible. They're all silver. The platinum silver metallic MDZ/1916. They're all badged, Silverstone badging on the sills. The stainless steel silver cover's got Silverstone embossed on it. The bonnet and the boot badges in the Phase 1 cars have a silver badge with Silverstone written in red, and there's also Silverstone embossed on the airbag cover. The interiors are all black. They're warm charcoal leather with sport interior, basically horizontal stitching. And the stitching is red to highlight the sporty feel. It has a leather gear knob, not a wooden gear knob, and an Alpine premium audio system, basically 8 speakers for the convertible and 9 speakers, basically the big subwoofer for the coupe, together with an amp and a CD multi-changer. They all had pre-stained, basically grey-looking bird's eye maple veneer, but they all seem to have gone green at the minute. I think all that grey stain has got bleached by the sun. All the ones I see seem to have a greeny tinge. The engines were the standard AJ27 supercharged engine as used on the normal vehicle. It's a V8 32 valve with a Eton M112 supercharger sat on the top, producing 370 bhp and 387 pound-foot of torque. Pretty nice motor. They're all automatic. They got a Mercedes-Benz 5-speed automatic transmission, W5A 580 5G Tronic. It's a little bit different to the XK8 because it can handle more torque being produced by the supercharger being bolted on the top. They all have Detroit wheels, and this is where the R Performance kit comes on. So Detroit wheels are part of R Performance. They are 20-inch BBS 3-piece Detroit design alloy wheels. The fronts are 9 inches wide by 20 diameter. They had directional 255/35 tyres. The rears were 10 inches wide by 20 inches diameter with asymmetric tyres with 285 millimeters wide, 30 millimeters section, and they do look the business. They're the most desirable wheel to have for an XK8 XKR. They all have Brembo brakes, part of the R performance again. There are Brembo 4-piston aluminium calipers. They're all silver with red Jaguar logo, not as per the picture here. The front discs are a huge 355 millimeter diameter, 32 millimeters thick, and actually originally 2-piece. The rear discs 130 millimeters, 28 millimeters thick, and single piece. As with the XKR, they all came with CATS, computer-aided suspension, but the additional handling pack, the R Performance handling pack, coupe only. Unfortunately, the convertible chassis isn't stiff enough to have the handling pack, so they didn't bother putting on. Gave 3 main points. Point 1, revised dynamic control. So they revised the electronic control unit settings. They revised the damper settings for more torrent handling. Secondly, the springs anti-roll bars were all adjusted. The springs are actually a little bit shorter, stiffer, to give a 10mm reduction in ride height. They're uprated, and the anti-roll bars are increased for roll stiffness. The steering was retuned. It had a retuned variable ratio, speed-sensitive steering system, giving very direct feel and pinpoint accuracy. Now, this is the heart of the handling pack. It's the bit unseen that really makes the difference, and it's part of our performance pack. It was the fastest Jag being produced and sold at the time. The performance was 0 to 60 in 5.2 seconds for the coupe, all electronics limited to 155 miles an hour. There's a full spec sheet there. I go into the full performance specs in another video, so don't worry too much. And they were fully loaded. By fully made, a lot of the standard equipment, a lot of the optional equipment was thrown in these cars. There was very few options, which I'll go through in a moment. The options you could choose were DVD satellite navigation, which to be honest is completely useless now, 20 years on. A mobile telephone, which has long since been obsolete. Those are factory options. There was actually dealer options with rear parking sensors, which are actually quite nice to have, and for the convertible, a wind deflector. Factory market-specific features, which are slightly different between the different Silverstones, depending where they were sold. There's heated front windscreens for the Nordic areas, a catalytic converter grass heat shield for Japan's ones, specific differentials for the Mexican market, and electric engine heater in Canada. Section 3 then, what is the difference between Phase 1 and Phase 2? What does that mean? Okay, Phase 1 basically is model year 2000, and they were all UK right-hand drive cars. Model year 2000, if you're not familiar, was the introduction of the premium audio system. There was lots of body reinforcement welded in, and a new brake booster to improve the brake response. It's basically double the pressure for the same movement of the brake pedal. The optional sat nav, rain sensing wipers, ABS. Basically, is a fairly fundamental upgrade, and it was the AJ27 engine coming on stream as opposed to the previous AJ26. If you want to know more details about model years, you can have a look at model year 2000 video, which is video 33. There should be a link in the top right hand corner now. Phase 2 then, it actually was the midlife facelift, model year 2001, and most of the cars are left-hand drive. Not all, most of the cars were left-hand drive. So it's foreign market exports. If you're not familiar, model year 2001, the main thing was the external facelift, midlife facelift, the exterior and the interior. So you got the flush fog lights, the dual rear lamps, bright finisher on the trunk lid, nice big fat exhaust trims for the XKR, a different back bumper. Interior got the headrests, which have the seats with the airbags incorporated, and you've got the arts, basically airbag deployment system to help. So it's quite a big upgrade, model year 2001. Again, if you want to know more about it, there's video 34 I've done previously. There should be a link in the top right hand corner now. What are the differences between phase 1 and 2 other than the model years? I haven't been able to find a lot, but one thing I have noticed is the bird's eye maple veneer is not grey stained on phase 2 cars, from what I can gather. It seems to be just the plain bird's eye maple, so it's a lot more wood looking, a lot more brown. If there are other differences, I'm not aware of them. I really need information about the P2. I need a brochure. So if anybody has any details about the P2 specification, please could you help send me a copy or a scan. You can mention it in the comments and I'll get in touch with you and we can organise that. If you're interested in model year changes throughout 1996 to 2006, I've done a video which summarises all the changes through the 10 years. That's video 40. Should be a link top right hand corner if I've not run out of the links. Section 4 then, how many were made? It's a bit debatable this, but the information I took from exclusively Jaguar.co.uk old website tells me there was 558 plus 5 prototypes manufactured in this table. I have modified the table a little bit to make it more interesting. From the information I've seen on the website. If you're interested in seeing the website's information directly, there is a link in the description of the video. So concentrating on phase 1, all UK market, year 2000 cars, 52 coupes, 50 convertibles, basically 102 built, 18% of the overall volume. Right-hand drive then. Originally you would think, oh, those are all the right-hand drive cars were made, but there are 40 phase 2 coupes in Japan. Now those are really interesting cars. So basically there are 142 right-hand drives and actually 25% of the volume is right-hand drive. If we look at phase 2 cars now, overall there's 456 of those, or 82% of the volume was phase 2. The bulk of it was shipped to the United States. They were the biggest market. 42% of all the cars went there. And the bulk of them were convertible, which is quite interesting because most of the other markets was predominantly coupes. But they did like the convertible in the US. So if we look at the overall left-hand drive numbers, there's a 416 or 75% of the cars are left-hand drive. Looking at rarity values, probably the 50 convertibles, phase 1, they're very rare, plus those 40 right-hand drive coupes in Japan. They're probably the most desirable model. If you're interested in finding one, the vehicle identification numbers for phase 1 were between A06139 and A0825. Basically 107 cars built in that period, 2,211 actually built altogether. So they were drip thread through the main production. They weren't all built in one stream. The prototype numbers A06139 coupe, that was actually the first car ever made. And we'll go into that in a bit later. For phase 2, the VIN numbers are between A09252 and A16892. 456 were made in a period of 7,640 cars. So again, spread through the production. The last section then, section 5, what's their value? new and now in the spring of 2021. So Phase 1 cars, as I said, they're all UK right-hand drive. Trying to work out what the price of them would be new. First of all, doing it sort of without branding it as Silverstone, so buying the R Performance kits. This was the price of the kits listed in 1999. So if you bought the full Monty X-Car convertible, R Performance kit was £4,300. For the coupe, because of the added performance pack, it was £5,900. And this is all assuming you bought either Paris or Detroit alloy wheels. If you bought Milan alloy wheels, which are also available, the R Performance, it was slightly cheaper. I think it was about £1,000 cheaper because they're only 18-inch wheels with smaller tyres, obviously. The base XKR prices then, thanks to Terry Collins for sending me the 1998 sales prices. This is the nearest I've got to it as an assumption. So an XKR coupe in 1998 was £60,005. Don't forget the 5. And the convertible was £67,005. They do like the £5. So if you add that together with the extras that were put on the standard with the Silverstone, to buy a similarly spec car, a coupe would have cost you £68,315 and a convertible £73,715. So as a comparison with the list price of the Silverstone, it looked very competitive. They're actually slightly cheaper than building your own. The purchase price of a P1 in 2000 was £66,785 for the coupe and £72,185 for the convertible. So very, very competitive. They weren't ripping anybody off just because they stuck Silverstone on everything. The price now then, what is a P1 worth now? They're very rare. They don't come up for sale very often. What I did find, I think there's one for sale at the moment in the UK, 16,950. There was one previously for sale a few months ago. It was about 25 grand that was advertised for. So it's safe to say they're worth somewhere in region of that value. What is the most valuable Phase 1? I believe it's probably this demo car or the prototype car with the registration W643BAC. This was the very first prototype Silverstone. It was actually fitted with prototype adaptive cruise control. Bear in mind this was not otherwise available until 2002. So it's very much a desirable car. I've checked on the MOT checker and that car still lives. It's still got a current MOT. It was actually one of the
You got one of these, yeah? I have, yeah. I couldn't have went that fast.
As you can see, it was actually it was the demo car driven by Johnny Herbert, showing Michael Owen around the circuit. As I said before, Johnny Herbert was the lead Formula One driver for the Jaguar Racing F1 team. Michael Owen, if you don't know who he is, he's actually a very famous footballer in Europe and the UK. He actually won the Ballon d'Or or the European Footballer of the Year in 2001 season. He played for Liverpool in 2000 and he actually won the treble. So it's the League Cup, the FA Cup and the UEFA Cup, or what is now known as the Champions League. So it's basically, you can see Jaguar were throwing everything at marketing this car and their brand. Phase 2 then, basically how much are they worth? They're model year 2001, again mostly left-hand drive. To be honest, the new price, I have no idea. I need the P2 sales price list. If you've got it or you can you know of them, please contact the channel, add in the comments, I'll get in touch with you, and it'll really help to nail this. The price now in Europe, I found this car for sale. It's quite heavily modified with the body kit, but it looks quite fetching really. It's not a pure Silverstone, but it doesn't look half bad. Now this car is being sold, I believe, in Germany for £20,600. To give you an idea of the value of those, so quite good value, although it isn't a pure Silverstone. People like an originality in order to get the best value. The price now in the USA, again, if anybody knows any of this sale, or I have no idea, obviously, because I reside in the UK, it's very difficult to get US prices. I believe, talking to Gary, there was one for sale recently for about 29,000 US dollars. But if you know any for sale or you've sold one, please again contact the channel and let us know. So finally, thanks and references to exclusively Jaguar website, Silverstone P1 brochure, Car and Classic for the values, and Terry Collins for the price list. And thank you for Gary for checking the video for me. If you're interested in more videos, again, I've got a few more going out on this subject, so keep an eye out for those. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and there's more videos on the channel. Please take a look. Please like, share, comment and subscribe if you'd like to see more XK8 videos.